The UK vaccination program already well underway, with the first inoculations being given to the country's most at-risk residents and frontline healthcare workers, one of whom is Paul Johnston, manager at the Palmerston Care Home in Northern Ireland and the first care home in the Western world to see all of its residents and staff vaccinated against COVID-19. Paul joins us now, live from Belfast in Northern Ireland. Paul, good morning to you. I guess my first question to you is, you got the shot. How do you feel?
I feel perfectly fine. No ill side effects and nothing but positive news today.
All right. Now, if you're feeling okay, have you gotten other vaccinations that you can remember before? Now,
Yes.
you have this idea now that we have a whole idea of a flu vaccination program, which is very common to us in many parts of the world now. Does it feel just like another vaccination program?
Very, very much the same. I recently had the flu vaccine in the home in very much the same circumstances, just to try and protect the most vulnerable. And again, the process yesterday was very much the same. We were given the information to make that informed decision to choose to take the vaccine or not. And the risks there really were very minimal risks, and the benefits are just overwhelming to get life back to some normality in the near future.
Now, logistically speaking, we know that it's rolling out for the highest risk and healthcare workers first. What is it now? You're going back in 3 weeks, right, or some amount of time to go and get the second dose of this. Is there a sense that you're getting right now from your peers, your colleagues, other people, your friends and family, that everybody does want to get the vaccine when it's available to them?
Yes, I feel very strongly that the information needs to be out there. As we all know, there's various stories in social media. People are concerned that the vaccine, the trials have been rushed. But once you actually see the facts and the accurate information, giving people that information will empower them to make the right decisions. But I think holistically, as a country, Northern Ireland, people are keen to have the vaccine to get back to normality.
Have you felt as though the lack of a vaccine so far has really been a detriment to the economy locally where you are? Did you feel as though that's going to be a huge motivating factor? I ask because here in America, we are struggling with this idea that many of our economies locally are now starting to lock down again. There is a huge pushback against it. Do you feel, we're trying to look at Northern Ireland as an example. Can you feel as though the residents there would open up their economy if everybody got vaccinated?
Yes, I feel that we've been in and out of various restrictions, which is very, very bad for hospitality and all those sectors and small businesses. So I think that vaccination is the only way forward, and people need to be willing to accept that. And I think that if the vaccine doesn't happen, that I think it'll just put more restrictions in place. The virus will continue to spread, and the right way forward is to receive the vaccine.
How have you, I mean, you were a frontline healthcare worker. How have you kind of dealt with, I guess, the best way to put it? How have you coped with this notion that you've seen the effects of the virus on perhaps some of the people that you know, some of the people that you work with, some of the people that you care for? How devastating has it been for you as a healthcare worker to deal with this kind of a pandemic?
It's been very sad. There have been many sad occasions through people I know personally, watching the news, watching how hard it has hit care homes in particular. And it has been a challenging time all round. And I think now that there needs to be the support in the care sector, in hospitals, everywhere, for people to be able to avail of good mental health services going forward. That all needs to be considered, because the long-term effects of it are bound to be real trauma for people. And I'd be a real advocate for some mindfulness, things like that, to help promote people's well-being.
Paul, the government is obviously a huge part of the effort to kind of inoculate everybody out there. The UK government has taken a lot of steps to roll this vaccine out. What do you think the UK government has done correctly so far in this campaign? And what do you think they still have to do to make sure that everybody gets vaccinated?
I think what they did correctly throughout it is review everything individually. Northern Ireland as a country, our Health Minister, Robin Swan, had to make, I'm sure, some very difficult decisions about opening up hospitality, closing hospitality. And I fully understand and appreciate how that's going to affect those businesses on a long-term basis. But there does need to be the financial support going forward, which I'm confident that there will be. That's where I would be with that. And I'm trying to think anything else that I think that did well. The vaccine, the process that we went through, finding out 24 hours before the vaccine was administered, seemed a short time space, but that highlights the importance of it. And again, giving everybody the information is what's so important, and maybe dispelling the myths that are going around social media. Fact checking, I think, is very important too, to maybe remove those comments that would make people anti-vaccine.
All right, and before we let you go, Paul, if you could say one thing to us here in America and elsewhere around the world, the case that you would make to get vaccinated, what would you tell people right now?
It's the right decision. If we want to continue to live our lives with less restrictions, save the most vulnerable in society, and to move on, I feel that the vaccine and following the rules, wearing a mask, being aware that this is not over, is something to bear in mind, and to err on the side of caution, and just to look after each other.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.